Shalom and welcome back to Genesis of Relationships, where we offer you, if you want to take it, the tools to bring peace and passion into your relationships. We're flying through Genesis and finding deep, deep meaning in these words to bring peace and passion into your relationship. It's all here. It's all in the blueprint. All in the blueprint. God gave it to us. We just need to learn it and institute it into our lives. We're in chapter 2. We're still on verse 24. Therefore, man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Now, this is the second key to marriage. There are many keys, many keys, and they're all here. Man has to leave his father and mother. Now, it may sound a little bit weird. Of course I'm leaving, of course I'm moving out. But our father and mother represented also by what we have learnt in our upbringing, in the education that we were given, the way that I look at my father, how he was in my home, how I look at my mother, how she was in my home. If I don't leave that behind, not leave behind as in don't take the lessons with me, but if I hold on to that and say, that is the way my home is going to be, I'm going to be, number one, very confused, number two, very frustrated, and number three, come up against my wife constantly. Why? Because man needs to learn from his home as a child, but understand that his home will be something different. His home has to be something different because it is made up of him and his wife and his children. It is not his father and mother's home. It is his home. It is his domain. In that home will be his and his wife's vision, his and his wife's belief system, his and his wife's struggles and strengths. If we hold on to what we saw as children, for good and for bad, and say, that will be my home, then we are retarding our ability to create our own home with our own wife. Only once that happens, only once I am properly, emotionally connected to my wife, once my wife allows me to connect to her in that deep way, and together we are creating a home for ourselves with our own belief system, with our own vision, with our own skills and struggles, then we can become one flesh. Because one flesh is physical and emotional and spiritual. It has to be. That's what man and woman are made up of, physical and spiritual. A man and woman's relationship is both physical and spiritual, but only when we are connected on that deep emotional level that we've left all the other stuff behind, and we are creating for ourselves a home, then that connection brings us to become basar echad, one flesh. That's a nice emotional side. That's actually probably the most difficult side for most people. But we can't deny the fact that God in the Torah speaks reality. We need to learn how to make love. We need to learn how to become one flesh. That's a physical thing. We need to learn how to translate that feeling of emotions, of closeness, of what we're building together into a physical action. You know, many people email me and say, we're struggling with the fact that my wife isn't having an orgasm, or I'm finishing too quickly, or whatever it is. And they don't realize that sex is an expression of emotions. It can be limited to physicality. The Western world has done that. But if we want to follow the word, our physical connection, our becoming one flesh, our making love, our sex life with our spouse is an expression of our oneness physically, spiritually, and emotionally.